Well, hey, Cameron, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. I'm doing great. It's good to see you again. I know it's been a little while.
Yes, it has. It has. It has almost over a year
I think
now.
so. Yeah. Oh, I can't even remember, but yeah, it's been a while, but it's good to see you. How's life treating you?
It's good. Definitely can't complain. Just been at the home resting during this time. We've had a lot of great shows happening just between December and November. So it's been a great run the whole year though, overall, for sure.
Good. I know. I'm hoping that this year has been better for people than last year, and I'm really hoping that 2022 is going to be just awesome. I'm
Yes.
hopeful. I'm hopeful. I know it's still kind of crazy out there, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're on the up incline. So we're definitely things are getting better. We're adapting and growing, and hopefully, things will be much better in this new year, and we'll be able to travel more with ease. So,
Yeah, that would be much needed. That would be so good. Well, okay, so you're an artist of all sorts. So I feel like I'm just getting to know you. I'm just learning more about you. But you're a poet, you're an
yeah,
author, an actor, and I will call you an artist of spoken word or a spoken word artist. I don't know. I like the way that that sounds. But tell me a little bit more about you and your background.
yes. So, I'm originally from Memphis, and interestingly enough, I came to MTSU to study aerospace. And so, yes, I was actually pursuing the career of being a pilot, but I got a chance to study abroad in Japan, which was super cool. Did speak Japanese while I was over there. And I was asked the question, if money was not an issue, family and friends fully supported you, what would you do? Would you still do what you're doing now? Would you change? And I realized in my heart of hearts, it was in me to be an actor and a speaker. And I was like, speaking would be cool to have mixed in with poetry. And that's when I discovered spoken word. And so after admitting that, I realized that this was a journey for me that I wanted to pursue my real dreams and something that I feel like I could contribute to the world. And with my relationship with God coupled with that, I really took a faith step. And since 2016, I've been full time. So I've worked with a nonprofit called Southern Word, teaching poetry in the schools all over Tennessee. And I've done plays with National Children's Theater to the Dark Horse, Oz Arts, and all kinds of spaces around, even some commercials like Uber and AT&T. Um, so it's been an amazing journey in just a short amount of time for me, and it's consistently growing in a great way that I can appreciate, and that I'm actually seeing the impact I'm doing on my community. So this is not just a selfish dream. And that was the difference between doing this and doing the aerospace. The aerospace was just for the money and the security. And no doubt it's good to have that, but I recognize being able to give and contribute something to the world is so much more. So, yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. Did you have anyone tell you or say anything to you like, oh, well, you can't make money being an artist. You can't make money at doing these creative things. You need to have a stable job and then you can pursue that on the side. Because I mentor young people, teenagers and college age students. And I've heard, a lot of young people say that this is what I want to do, but my parents or other family members have said, oh no, that's not stable.
Yeah.
And it's sad to hear that. But did you encounter that?
Oh, yes. I mean, that's the very reason why I never pursued it in the first place. I mean, they would give us the statistics coming up to grade school. So, when they would talk about sports or artists, they were like, only one in 12,000 actually become that, or 1 in 16,000 actually make it and become successful. And looking at those numbers, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be that person who pursues a frivolous dream that doesn't go anywhere. So I want to make sure I get the stable job that they're telling me it's going to work. So, the aerospace was something different and something stable. But I realized that, again, going back to my faith, I'm very big on walking by faith and not just walking in fear. And I realized being an artist is just like being an entrepreneur, which is what I wanted to be anyway. And so as an entrepreneur, you are creating. There's going to be risks and they're going to be unknown, but I recognize that craft with the consistency and the skills, no matter what job you do, you're going to have to put it in, but it's going to be rewards. And yeah, it was scary at first, but once I took that faith walk, I made the commitment in 2014, and then in 2016, it was full time. So it may not necessarily be how others may consider it because I am a teaching artist and doing a performance. But in actuality, this is actually pretty cool. I actually enjoy being able to teach, help the youth throughout the day, and then go out and perform for all ages at night or on weekends and things like that. So it's a great balance, and it's pretty steady for me. I've been able to support my wife by myself while she's been in school. I paid off my student loans last year, so that has been a phenomenal milestone for me, knowing that I off student loans with poetry. So yes.
That is inspirational right there. And I think that success is defined differently for different people. I think sometimes we're kind of told that, okay, this is what success looks like.
Yeah.
But I think we kind of have to define that for ourselves, because what we may want out of something may be different than what someone else wants out of it. And so you don't have to be rich and famous to be successful. You don't have, and some people don't want, the best of the best. We can support ourselves. We can find these endeavors that make us happy, that utilize our skills and talents, and kind of make our own path. And I really want people to know that, and to see people like you and others that are doing this, because I think we get caught up in this sort of one definition of what success looks like. And then we compare ourselves and go, oh, well, I guess I'm not successful, or I can't do this because I won't be the 1 in 12,000.
Yeah. That's what people are doing all the time. We all suffer with that when we look at social media, and we see people who are look like they just started yesterday, and then they're already making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions and living the lavish life. And, I see those things, but I really take in, and it's like, what's really important right now? Let's just say, you put in your mindset, I'm gonna make $100,000 one day in a year. I'm gonna have a nice house one day. It doesn't have to be today. I don't have to rush today. And, the biggest thing I'm thinking about is what's important. And right now, important is taking care of yourself and your family. Important is taking care of your community and, doing the necessary things right here, right now, and not being selfish with what you have, not keeping your gifts to yourself. Because I have those gifts to just be selfish with. They're meant to give away. So.
Yeah. And one of my favorite quotes is, and I always have it at the end of my email. It's, in the end, it's not the years in your life that matter. It's the life in your years. And I think you said that so perfectly with its community, its faith, its home and family. It's what you're investing in, it's what's important to you and what you're doing with the talents that you have.
Yeah. And I was reading that from your email, and I was like, Oh yeah, that's gonna have to be a quote I just keep just for personal remembrance, like
I
because
love it.
that's really where it is, and it's just my mom loves this song. I believe I can't remember it's by Leanne Rhymes. I hope you dance.
Oh, Leanne Womack.
Leanne Womack, yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I listened to that song, and it's a really good song, and it's that type of idea that I try to go with every day I step out, every week, every year. I try not to just let it be another day that just goes by and there's just nothingness. But really figure out like how can I feel this? And I think sometimes we like being in our comfort because comfort is comfortable. But when you take the risks that are calculated risks is what I like to say. You find that it's rewarding, even if you fail. There's a reward because you're willing to go beyond. And people are going to notice that. And even if you fail over here, somebody will come along and notice what you did and help you. And I can definitely say my community has been a great help, all the way back from my mother, who, of course, is at every event, every exhibit or showing that we do. My wife, who's been here supporting along the way, my friends or people that I meet in the community is it's just really cool to have such a really great supporting community. So
Yeah, those lasting connections and friendships that you make are so
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so tell me what spoken word is. If you had to describe it to someone, it's poetry, it's sort of lyrical, and what is it, and why is it important? So I think there's a lot of people that don't know what that is, or I've never
Yeah,
heard a performance.
yes. So spoken word is definitely a unique form of poetry. So we know poetry is um, something that's put on the page and it can be read, but it's usually page poetry is what we call it. But then there's spoken word, which is performance poetry. And this particular poetry is written to be performed. So it's not just read out loud. It's using your body language, your voice inflections, your tone, everything about you brings the poem out. And so it gives it a whole new meaning that they wouldn't get by just reading it. So yeah, we more so look at that as performance poetry. And so some people may have seen an example from Amanda Gorman during the inauguration this past year. So she would be considered a spoken word poet. So she was able to do a mix of reading, but the energy that she was able to bring in her poetry brought it to a spoken word space. So, and
Yeah,
that's a lot of, but yeah,
was it? Well, yeah, because it's powerful.
yeah,
And I haven't heard as or seen as much performance of spoken word as I would like to. But I know when I saw you perform, that was a very powerful performance. And I
thank you.
think it resonated. We had so many different people from all different walks of life in that audience, but it resonated with all of us very deeply. And
Yeah.
there's just there's a human connection to it that
Mm.
goes so much further, like you said, than just reading or reciting a poem. And poetry is beautiful, and I write poetry, but that spoken word is there's a soul connection there.
Yes. And that's the beautiful thing about it is it brings that humanity piece to it that we don't realize we're missing until we get it. It's just like water. Sometimes you may not realize how thirsty you are until you actually take that drink and you're like, man, I was really thirsty. And so I realized, in this world where we're constantly dividing ourselves or being more individualistic, um, you don't realize how much you really need connection. You don't realize how deep of a connection that you long for. And this spoken word is a way for people to connect on a deeper level from me to them, vice versa. But then also it sparks conversations between them and the crowd, or they take it home and talk with their friends or family. And that connection just continues to grow. That deepening of the soul just pushes out. And so I love the power that that has in a positive way, because I do believe doing that with a positive energy is the best thing to think about, because emotions are very fragile. And I take my poetry very seriously with every line that I do, every topic that I try to address. I try to really think about, is this going to bring people together, or is this going to tear people apart? And I want to make sure that I'm doing something that is constructive, that can inform about any situation or bring a constructive space to it.
Tell me a little bit about Southern Word and your involvement with them.
Yes, so I am one of the poet mentors. I've been a poet mentor since 2016, and recently I've become the communications relation coordinator. And excuse me, community relations coordinator. And so I have gone through schools all over Tennessee, from Memphis and Shelby County to Rutherford County and all the surrounding counties in the Middle Tennessee area. And I travel basically doing workshops and residencies. So, I've worked with kids from K all the way up through senior year in high school, and even some college students. And I do a lot of the creative writing workshops.
Oh,
So
awesome.
it's phenomenal. We get to really help them with their literary skills, their social emotional learning, and of course their ability to speak, because we know that public speaking is the number one fear in the world. So we're helping, I believe in this last year, over 8,000 kids overcome that fear, and just being able to share that, because during this pandemic, it has been rough for everybody. And
Yes.
so kids, they don't really have a constructive way to express themselves. So Southern Word has been a great space for them to have their after school clubs, or have their PLT time where they can write, share with each other, and get this stuff out of them that's been bottled up. And it's amazing.
Yeah. And that's a great outlet for young people to
Mhm.
really you process emotions and what's going on, inside of them and in their life. It's a great way to encourage writing and performance, and just gives them a good outlet. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. It's so fun. And the program does much more. We've have mentors that help students with music production, singing, songwriting. We actually just did our event, State of the Word, this past December 11th, and there's constantly new opportunities coming up for students. So definitely, we encourage people to check out the website all the time, southernword.org, to see some of the things going on there, and really get their kids involved, because they need it.
They-
All levels that we help people in the suburban to the urban, juvenile detention centers, Vanderbilt Hospital, and all kinds of places. So, you know, we're here for the community. And
That
so
is
that,
fantastic.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I'm so glad that you're doing that. Well, what inspires you to write? What inspires your art and your process?
Um, well, I would definitely say I think about a conversation that I had with some of my brothers when I was younger. And I had a few brothers that were kind of leading my youngest brother to a negative headspace. And I was trying to convince him and all of them about why to be on a positive track was better. And it just seems like my words weren't getting through. So I thought about, if I can't do it with these simple words, then perhaps through my actions, by not just talking about what this positive lifestyle can do, but actually showing it. And so by actually being successful at doing these spoken word performances and learning how to express myself better, learning how to be successful through my acting and actually have a successful lifestyle that's working, that they can all look at and say, I can't deny what you're doing is immaculate. And so when I write, I think about everyone who is looking for a reason to be positive, looking for a reason to do the right thing and make it happen, just making it happen. And I want to be that example. And it's really great that my brothers have now started to confide in me about life situations or be inspired by some of the things that I'm doing. And now they're wanting to pursue their dreams. And this was really great. My youngest brother wasn't alive at the time. He's 8 years old now. And he got to see me do a performance in the National Children's Theater. And to see his face when he wanted to come up and get my autograph, take a picture with me. And just 2 months ago, he called me in the middle of the night on a random Wednesday to tell me he's filling out an application for drama club.
Oh,
And that was just amazing. I mean, I hear about kids and parents doing that all the time, but to have my youngest brother really looking at me and being inspired by what I do and wanting to do that, it's just like, this is really working. This really works. It's really helping people. So,
and that's a
and
measure of success. When we
yeah,
talk about defining success, when
yeah,
we are impacting someone else's life in a positive way, that's
yeah,
success.
yeah. And that's just been my thing. I've always just wanted to be that example. So when they have that question, how do I get to this next level? How do I be successful with a positive way? I didn't want to be in a space where I had no answer. And if I didn't at the moment, I'm going to be like, I'm going to go get the answer. I'm going to lead by example and not just tell you, oh, just be strong and just go do it. I recognize we all watch other people's examples. We don't just hear what you say, we want to see it. And I recognize that I wanted to see more examples when I was coming up. There was some, but there weren't enough. And so I knew what I needed, and I'm trying to be that for the next generation. So,
Wow. Thank you for that.
yeah,
Thank you. We need more of that in the world. Absolutely.
thank you.
What advice do you have for other artists, whether it be young people coming up or any age?
Hmm. I would say walk by faith, because a lot of times this path consistently pushes people to have a plan B. And anything that you take a risk on, you have to learn how to go all in. And I committed to this role. So I wasn't trying to have one foot into it and one foot still somewhere else. It's like I committed to this. The other thing I recognize with our generation and some of the others is that we want the success immediately without all the hard work. And I recognize that to really get to a place to be successful, you need to master the skill. And I can even say for myself, I'm constantly honing my skill, constantly trying to find ways to get better. So don't be afraid to do the work. And, going back to what I mentioned earlier, taking a calculated risk. In order to take a calculated risk, you have to have the skills to calculate the risk, which is the mastery. So having the discipline to be good at what you do and having that skill is going to carry. No matter what other people say, people are always going to recognize skill. and that discipline and that ability to show up, that ability to be honest and work hard. Because, it's not just the talented that get hired, it's also showing up on time. We don't think about that, but the hard work, the humility that you have, and not believing you're the star and that you're the only one who should get the perfect roles and all that, but actually being a person that people can work with is what's needed. We need more of that.
We definitely do. We definitely do. Well, do you have anything that you want to perform for us today, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I could definitely say I have something that I'll be performing, and this is one of the poems that I plan on performing. I just put it out there on February 13th, kind of during the Valentine's Day. We'll be doing a showcase at 21C Museum Hotels at, I believe we have 4 p.m. It'll be free with complimentary wine. And so the theme is love. So it's an evening of spoken word with live music. And so poems that we revolve around is love. So yeah. Let's see, I call this piece Love Language. I want to be fluent in your love language. Are you the type to like gifts that cause your heart to be still? I know you walk like heaven with authority, but is there a gift I can give you that can make you be still and move at the same time? Kore wa muzakashi kedo daijoubu desho. Translation: sometimes it may be difficult, but it's okay. I mean, I want to speak affirmations simultaneously through your past, present, and future. I want to touch the heart of your star and watch it melt with my melanin. Kore ga aishiteru, te amo. I could think of 4 ways to say I love you, but the heart only needs one. I want to be fluent in your love language. Are you the type to like services that causes silver linings in your life to dance? I want to be fluent in your love language, and you and mine.
Oh, thank you. Wow. I think right now, the need for love, the need for love is always great, but I think we see it more and more now, how much love is needed all around us.
Yeah, it is. And I was trying to push so much to not do love poems when I became a poet. And it's just, I realized you produce what's in you. And I guess I'm just so much full of love. I like more than 50% of the poems I create have something to do with love. And it's needed and it's good. So why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was just a small snippet. There would definitely be more.
That's like a sampling. It's a teaser.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be phenomenal. We're gonna have other poets a part of it. Like I said, we're gonna have live music, and just being in the space with people is what really helps the poems to come out. Just having that crowd interaction is everything. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, well, tell us one more time when and where that's going to be.
Yes, so that's going to be at 21C Museum Hotels.
Okay.
That's downtown on 2nd Avenue, if you're not familiar with Nashville area. And it's going to be at 4 p.m. It'll be free with complimentary wine for those who are of age, of course. And yes, it's going to be very great. So definitely be checking out on social media. So on our page is The Free Fire on all social media platforms is where you will see this content. So all of my performances and all of my events that will be happening this year, you'll be able to see them on my social media at The Free Fire.
Okay. And then where would you like people to follow you on social media? Where are you at? Where can people talk? Yeah.
IG at cant Speaks One. So if you want to see more of me individually, you know, a lot of things that I'm doing, poetry, acting, just life, Cam Speaks One.
Cam Speaks One.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Cameron. I really appreciate it.
I love having
Yeah.
like this, and it's always a pleasure. So thank you so much for inviting me out to this. This means a lot.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again sometime. I would love to get Southern Word to come on. I don't know if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Be a neat thing to do.
Community relations coordinator. So this is the stuff I do for Southern Word.
All right. So. I'm talking to the right person then.
Yes, of course.
Well, good.
So, cool.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Keep it up. Please keep inspiring people and working with young people. It is so needed. And I'm inspired just listening to you talk and hearing about the things that you're doing. So I'm hoping that more people will want to get involved and continue this work.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm really hoping for. Every day that I present, I'm hoping to inspire someone else to just do a little bit of something for the community. So. Yeah,
because we all have something that we can do. It's never too small. I think that's kind of a running theme. And I want people to remember that we all have a part to play, a role to play, and there's nothing insignificant or minute.
Right. And it's like every time we give off that energy, we're giving something to you to carry. And so the more that you know, people like you and I give that to each other, and then the viewers who will be seeing this, they will be inspired, and that just, it's infectious, and it continues to grow. It's a ripple effect.
I hope so. Absolutely. That's my goal. That's what I want to see happen.
Last thing, I forgot to mention this, that I'm also the actor laureate for Murfreesboro. And the theme that we've had for this year is called the Hope Effect. And so that very thing is just like, you know, if doing one small thing today can affect masses tomorrow, just like a ripple effect. We've been going with that theme of a hope effect. So that's what I really hope that the community takes away and just dives into. And last with that, we have an exhibit up at the Rotunda in Murfreesboro. So anybody in the area, it will be up through January, free to look. So if you want to know more about that hope effect thing, many of our poems and exhibits will be up in the Rotunda at the City Hall in Murfreesboro.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And I hope that everyone will take the time and go and take a look at all of these things as well. All right. Well, thank you again. You have a great day, and we're going to chat again soon, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, of course.
All right. Well,
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you later.
All right.
All right. Bye.